Hey friends, I hope you're having a great day. Today we're going to chat about, I'm going to take you through the process of processing the garlic that I harvested and grew. So I finished out at just right at just a little bit under 6.5 pounds after I did the first part of the processing. So that's what I'm going to show you is how, like, from the curing stage, how I processed it all the way to getting it into the house and the processing that we did in here. And then I mentioned before that the two ways that we were going to preserve the garlic then, one is that we love to make pickled garlic, and two, we use a ton of garlic powder. So our other method of preserving is with dehydrating the garlic and grinding it up and making garlic powder. So in all the ones that broomed on me, those are kind of our raw garlic that we've got on the counter that we're using in recipes, just like you would if you got it from the store. And then the first, very first harvest that I did was just about 1/3 of a pound, and so I had dehydrated that a while ago. It only filled up like maybe 2 or 3 layers of my tray, of my dehydrator. But I did go ahead and do a practice run on grinding it up. It made beautiful powder, and I'm gonna do that in another video with you because this one's already pretty long and lengthy. So once we get through all that, I'm gonna show you what the pickled garlic looks like, and we just use a real basic pickling recipe for refrigerator pickles, and then we add all the other things that we like to it, like peppers from our garden, dill from our garden, and the different spices. So real basic from there. And then I show you what the biggest round of garlic, because I spent a lot of time yesterday chopping up, I would say, or slicing up, I'd say probably 1 pound or 2 of garlic, and got it set up in the dehydrator, and so we'll take a look at that. But stay tuned at the end, because when I do my wrap up, I'm gonna kind of talk to you about some things that I would do different next time that I definitely just barely missed the failure button on. But real quick, so check out how we as a family processed our 6.5 pounds of garlic. I'm taking down my last section of garlic here, and I'm going to show you how I'm processing my garlic. Just use what I'm doing as an example if you want to do it similar to this, because I'm just using an old planter and one of my waste baskets. So the first thing I do is I go along and I just snip the necks off. And they usually just fall into the basket, but I guess they're tangled. So I snip the necks off. And so when I first started it, I was just letting them drop into the planter, but it's obviously full of stuff now. So at this point, I put my gloves on just because I already washed my hands a million times a day. So each time I do it pretty much the same. This is like my weighing cup, so I kind of keep it there. And then I get me a section out, and the first thing I do is try to get the hair together, the roots, and I pull some off, and the rest I kind of cut. And then I just kind of take the skins down to where it's not so dirty, so that when we take it inside to peel it, we're not just tracking even more dirt inside. So this kind of becomes a quick process, and I've got my garlic crew in there processing. So once we get through with this, I can give you my final weights and talk about, you know, where we're at. So I've got some good sized ones in here. This is one that did the brooming, so it's got, you know, some separation down here at the base. Like, we could probably just take that right off. And like I said, I'm just trying to get them to where they have as little dirt on them as possible. because when we go inside here in a second, you're gonna see that there's already a lot of craziness going on the table. And this that went broom, it's kind of weird looking. Must be a cat over there bothering Winston. He's become a good bird dog, but the cats mostly stay in the alley or the easement. It's not really an alley. Now we got one more, and then we're ready to weigh. And all of this stuff and all this is going to go into the compost as browns, so nothing is going to get wasted in this garlic process. So now we can put this in here, move it to the side, take our gloves off, and then we're gonna gently dump this kind of here on the table. Get our scales turned on, tear out the cup, and fill our cup back up. So I usually try to put the little ones on the bottom first, and then the big ones kind of stick in there. Nice. So 0.87. So our final weight is 6.49, and that's from planting probably a pound or so worth of garlic from a 2-pound bag. We spent about $6 on the bag of garlic from Costco. So for $6, we got almost 6.5 pounds of garlic. So now let's go inside. So now we have joined the garlic team. Everybody has been working together for an hour or two, and this is our bowl. And Seth made a good point that when we get done, we're gonna weigh this, because all my weights are based on kind of dry weight, I guess, and this what we call maybe our wet weight. I don't know, either way. But that's where we're at so far. And
torture, save us.
We have to turn this into a game. Whenever you complete a clove, you have to say, I completed a clove, or you get garlic paper thrown at you. And whenever you complete a bowl, you have to say, I completed a bowl, and get up and do a
Do the
dance.
hokey pokey.
Yeah.
so with our little garlic, we put together some pretty gorgeous dill. You know, we're making dilled garlic, and there's peppers in there from our garden and lots of dill from our garden. And then we've got a fat one. This one is huge. Again, it's got all kinds of peppers from our garden, all kinds of dill, and these are all the baby cloves that I kind of culled from the bunch. And that back there is like kind of our working jar. So yesterday, and I'm going to do another video on this, but I want you to know that you might be okay cutting up garlic, just the normal amount, but if you cut up this much garlic, you should have some gloves on. So I've got Josie here going to help me. So let's first take off the top one. So something that I do as I'm trimming, it smells so good, as I'm, cutting my garlic. Now, some of these, like this one, still need some time, and you can tell because they're flexible, whereas the ones that look more brown, like that, they're going to break. So what I do with like the little itty bitty end pieces is I just stick a piece of, what is this, parchment paper? Stick it in here, so just so they don't fall through the holes. Okay, so now the top rack, like I said, because this is so full of garlic, I'm gonna have to, but that's the cool thing about this kind of cheapy dehydrators, that you can lift the trays out. So okay, Joe, take off the, actually go all the way to the bottom. So, like, okay, so this is the very bottom tray, and it looks, so I put these on probably, yeah, see how well that crunches? even better than the other one. So will you get me a little jar? So what you're looking for, like again, compared to the top tray, you can see that there's still a lot of what looks like, you know, white garlic, raw garlic, if you will. But when we look at this bottom tray, you can see that you're looking for it to be more of a toasty, crisp looking color. So this tray I would call done, and also this tray right here. And I did some of this the other day, and but I'll finish the processing part of this in another video with you when I actually convert this to powder. But I did just want to show you my little setup process. Now, because I can take my trays in and out, I don't even have to put these back in here. We should just take these off. This is the base tray, so we have to clean that off first. But then we can just put the trays back on that still need to go for a little bit, and let the rest of them go. So this was probably about just a little bit under 24 hours, I'd say. I think I got these going about 3:30 yesterday afternoon. So this is so I showed you, these are the two ways that I'm using my garlic. And this is to make garlic powder, but this will be another video. One major fail that I did was poor execution of my curing process, because I sit on my patio all the time. I always have a fan on my patio all the time. So I thought that it would be fine to just hang up all my garlic out there. And my garlic cured for just a little over 2 weeks. And because in my mind I was like, I can kind of process it as I feel like, because it's good, it's fine, it's curing, and it'll be able to last for a long time. So I had 2 bunches strung up and kind of on this screw close to like the back wall of the house. And on that back patio are water heaters that's out there. So it wasn't really getting a lot of airflow from the fan, and also being kind of up against the house, it wasn't getting a lot of circulation around it. So, and that happened to be the 2 bunches that I went to process first. And when I did, I found that there was a lot of moisture still going on around the neck. And then I went to open up some of the garlic, and I tell you that I really dodged a bullet. Like, if I would have waited another week, I'd say any part of a week, then a lot of that garlic would have already just went bad on me. So that prompted me, like, that took me from, hey, let's do a little bit of garlic, to we're doing all the garlic right now as a group, it's got to get done right now. Because there's no way I'm going to grow that much garlic and end up messing up. So the other 3 bunches or so were hanging over here, where they got a lot of air circulation around them, and action from the wind and action from the wind from the fan. So they were in better condition than the other ones that were hanging up against the house. But I think still the second angle of that fail right there, almost near fail, was that I shouldn't have had them outside. I think the fact that it was so warm outside, in spite of the airflow, they were just kind of creating humidity inside of themselves due to the heat. So next time I'll definitely bring them inside. I'll probably maybe hang them in there on my pantry shelf. That's my little garden buddy, you know. If he can't help me out there, he's got to help me right here. So next time I might try and hang some in the garage, but with a fan, or like I said, I think in my pantry area where they can get airflow, but the temperature is lower, because it really is supposed to be curing around 75, 80 degrees, which is closer to what it is inside of my house. So those 2 things, baby, gotta sit down. So those 2 things, not having good airflow, and then probably being way too warm on the patio, babe, I gotta talk. Those are a couple of things that put me in an almost fail situation with the garlic. But as you see, we went ahead and processed it all that day, and we only had one like full clove that had went bad. You know, it had almost just was rotting. You know, it was too wet. And but otherwise, almost all the cloves look really good individually. So we dodged a bullet on that. So that's one thing. So it's like 1 year I grew a couple of cloves and I had okay success. This year I planted a bunch of cloves. I had huge success. But then the curing process almost got me. So, and curing is something that's new to me. I haven't had to do that with anything else before. And in my mind, I really wanted to believe that I would get that stuff processed a lot faster than I did. But the idea that it was curing made me think that I had a window. And I kind of did. And I could have more if I would have done a better job in the curing process. So that is kind of my conclusion. So I've got some other things I'm going to share with you, but I am going to kind of continue on this track. I want to show you the process. It's so simple, but it's cool. It's cool more than anything. So once I get, I've got a good amount dehydrated now. You saw that. So I'll get together another video where I show you how we process that and what it looks like. And I'm telling you, the flavor of this fresh dehydrated garlic is the most intense garlic powder I've ever tasted. So again, friends, if you use garlic powder, you should grow some garlic. All right, well, I'm glad that you get to see that this guy is still a love bug and that he's not just a crazy attack hands and digging bags little dog. Him's just a baby. And I hope you have the best day ever.